back in the studio. It's time to Get Psyched with Dr. Janine, who's right here next. Welcome back to NTV News First Edition. Monday is Valentine's Day, and in Canada, the average household is expected to spend around $64 on the special day this year. And if you're struggling to find the perfect way to celebrate your special someone, a new poll found that most of us just want a romantic meal at home. What are your feelings on Valentine's Day? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Well, joining me now is Dr. Janine Hubbard with this week's Get Psyched with Dr. Janine. It is great to see you. I had a chance to see you actually in person, 6 feet apart, of course, but it's so good to see you here again.
Oh, again, the team here has been so welcoming, and thank you to our viewers for dealing with my lack of technical skills and camera skills and lighting. We made it through, but boy, these guys take care of it here. So really happy to be back and not worrying about that part.
Absolutely. Valentine's Day is coming up on Monday. Do you think we put too much pressure on ourselves and our partners to have the perfect Valentine's Day?
I think there are some people who do. I'm delighted by that poll. That's the first time I've heard kind of low-key plans. Because the problem is, it's not a Hollywood movie. It's not a rom-com. We live in Newfoundland in February in the middle of a pandemic. But that being said, it's really important to have a discussion with your partner about expectations, because it can actually often cause really hurt feelings. If one partner, especially if you're in a new relationship, if one individual really, believes in the roses and the romance and all the rest of it, and someone else is just like, I just want a quiet night at home on the couch with some takeout. Or remembering that some people, gifts are really important. For other people, it could be spending time with each other. So it's an important discussion to have. And it's also an important discussion to have, including children and other family members, in terms of the, hey, it's Valentine's Day. What's important about that day to you, and how should we acknowledge it? Or are we, a family or a couple that sort of say, you know what? We work really hard to acknowledge love and support throughout the year. We don't need a specific day to make a big deal of it.
That's right. A lot of people out there don't have a significant other. So what if you don't have a special someone? Valentine's Day, people dread it.
Certainly, it can be a trigger for a lot of people. Again, there are many people for whom, again, it's not a big deal. And if that's the case, go embrace, make sure you're keeping busy, having fun that day. If it is a day where you're feeling lonely or you're feeling more vulnerable, use it as a good reminder to reach out to other loved ones. Remember, there's a whole lot of other forms of love beyond just romantic love. Reach out to friends. Say, hey, I want to connect. Sometimes use it as a good excuse to say, I just want to make sure you know how much I love you and I care for you, and I'm really glad you're in my life. And if you're really unhappy in your single status, maybe use that as a little bit of, a kick in the pants to say, okay, this isn't going to change if I don't do anything about it, so maybe it's time for me to join a class, online, or maybe it's time for me to look at a dating website. Maybe it's time to tell my friends that I'm available. Whatever it is, if it helps to kickstart things for you, that's great. But please don't feel that there's any pressure to it. We all celebrate love throughout the year, in different formats.
What if you're in a relationship where one person, really wants the big fancy Valentine's Day romantic time, and the other person is that's not really their thing? How can you navigate that?
Well, I think it's important, again, to have that conversation and honor those needs. Listen, it's been a long pandemic. I think a lot of people are feeling maybe the relationship is in a little bit of a rut, or maybe it's been a really challenging couple of years with everybody cooped up together. So if it's an excuse to sort of say, we haven't had a date night, in, 6 months. Well, maybe whether that's actually Valentine's Day or if you feel that that's too overhyped, maybe you say, you know what, I would love for us to do that. Let's do it in a week or two, so that it's kind of a compromise or a balance between the two of you. But acknowledge that sometimes it's important to set some time aside from the kids and from work and all of the rut and the routine, and make sure you are having some time for yourselves as a couple, however that might look.
All right, before we go, because we are out of time, I need to ask you this. I'm putting you on the spot. I've been asking people on Twitter, do you have a favorite romantic movie?
Oh, I'm a Princess Bride girl.
Oh.
That's where I go.
All right, well, thank you so much. Great to see you, and we'll see you in person again next week.
Thanks again.